everybody. It's going to start.
Well, that's true. But, you know, it took... Who did that?
Hey!
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the English Show. I'm Vicki, and I'm an English teacher, and I'm based in Philadelphia. And with me is my good friend Fluency, who's over in Paris.
Yes, I'm in Paris. I'm a teacher. I'm a trainer. I'm a knowledge entertainer. I like to help you practice English with rhyme and rhythm.
And we've got some great tips for you in this English show about how to learn English with movies.
Yeah.
And we're going to be joined by Story Paul.
Story Paul.
But there's one other person who you should meet, who's my husband Jay, who's working away behind the scenes to make this happen.
Hi guys, it's great to see everybody. I'm looking forward to this exciting show and seeing Story Paul in just a little while.
Right.
But the other thing I'm hoping can happen is I'm hoping that Jay can bring me to Paris.
Oh, I hope so too.
Because I'd love to come and see you in Paris.
Would you? Would you come on over?
How am I going to get to Paris this week, Jay?
Oh, this week I'm going to turn you into a helicopter.
A helicopter?
Yes, put your hands out.
This is hard work. I'm here. Well, that was exciting. Hey, I'm here. I've made it.
Vicki, fist bump. Or maybe I should ask you for a helicopter hand pump or something. That was really impressive.
I know. It was a lot of hard work. You know.
I can imagine. Yeah, sometimes you come and it's really easy, but this time you really made a lot of effort.
But you know, something else that can be hard work is learning English. So on the English show, we like to make it fun work.
Yeah, it's all about practice.
And we've got a guy with us today who's all into fun work of learning English with movies, and he's going to give us some good tips on how to do that. So let's go and meet him. Paul, are you there?
Yeah, Story Paul in the house.
Welcome.
Hey, Vicki, Fluency, and Jay. So nice to be here with you guys. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you doing? And where are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, and I am in Buenos Aires, Argentina, on the other side of the world, where it's still kind of warm. We're still coming out of summer in a big, bustling city, and just having a great time joining you guys.
Paul, we can see that you're a movie fan from all the posters up behind you. Our students want to know, how can we learn English with movies? Have you got some good tips for us?
I do. You know, that's really what I love to do most. I love working with context-based techniques and stories, of course, and working with movies is one of my favorite things. So absolutely. You know, movies provide learners with authentic language, and they also provide them with a memory tool because they're stories. So the first thing learners want to do is they want to choose a movie, a genre, right? Genre is science fiction or romance or action or drama that they like, or choose a movie based on an actor or an actress that they happen to know. That's the first step, something that will provide engagement for them.
Okay, so the first thing to do is to make sure you like it. Find something you like. Great, then what?
Okay, then once you know that, choose a short clip. Right now, in the resources, I provided some great places where you can do that. We don't really need to watch an entire movie to learn some language from it. And a short 2-3 minute clip, like a scene or a trailer, is just fantastic.
Okay, so the next tip is keep it short. And Paul has given us some resources, and we're going to be putting them on our Facebook group.
Great.
And putting them in there. So make sure you check that out later. And I'll put them in the details below as well. So we've got some tips for where to go and find movies. And trailers, as you said. Trailers are good, aren't they? Because they're very short.
Absolutely. Trailers are very short. They're very nice just to get an idea of a basic story and getting a few quick lines, which is usually what they include. But yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have another question.
Sure.
Why are movies good for learning English? Why is it useful practice?
Well, that's the jackpot question. Movies provide three things. They provide learners with a really natural access to speaking patterns, right? When we talk about speaking patterns, what we want to do is we want to differentiate that from the type of writing style textbook English that we learn initially, which is necessary. But as we advance, it's nice to get a feeling for how people really speak in the real world, with interruptions and fillers and sometimes repeating themselves and changing directions. And movies provide this and provide learners with a great opportunity to listen to this again and again. But that's not it. They also provide other things, and I can go into that as well.
Great. Well, I think before you go into it, we should have something else like conversation time.
Is it conversation?
We've got a conversation for you now, which is about me and Jay going to the movies.
Okay, great.
All right. And at the movies, we had a problem. So your task is to listen and find out and watch and find out what problem we had.
Okay. So we're gonna watch you and Jay at the movies, and during the clip, we need to try to notice a problem you have.
Okay. It's not actually at the movies, but we're talking about it. We're talking about a trip to the movies.
Talking about a trip to the movies. Got it.
Okay. We went to the cinema last night.
It was great.
Jay's phone rang during the movie.
It was only for a couple of seconds before I turned it off.
It rang twice.
You do not look happy about that.
It was a very short conversation, but it
based on a true story, I imagine.
Based on true life, you bet.
Authentic.
Authentic, yes. Now, you're looking at the script here for what we said, but some words are blanked out. Do you know the missing words? So let's have a look at them. Okay, we went to the cinema last night. Notice I said cinema. That's because I'm British. But Fluency, I think you'd say something else there, wouldn't you?
Definitely. We would say go to the movies, and we were in the movie theater. We don't use the word cinema very often.
Okay. It's a British English word, but we could also say movies in British English as well.
Okay.
Okay, and then it was great. Jane's phone rang. Do you know what this word is? There it is. It's during the movie. And then look at the next one. Jay said it was only for a couple of seconds before I turned it off. So notice those words during and for. We use during to say when something happens, but we use for to say how long something happens. So two little prepositions there about time, but with rather different meanings. And then the final word that's missing here, it rang twice. Twice means two times. So one time is once, two times is twice. What's three times? It's three times. There is an old-fashioned word that we say, thrice, but we don't use it much these days. We say three times. Okay, so that was my little conversation about movies.
That was really fun.
Hey, Story Paul,
Yeah.
do you like to watch movies at home or go out to movies usually, or do you do both?
Well, that's something that has changed a lot over the years. Modern life and, having a child, having a daughter makes it a little bit more difficult to go out as often as I'd like to. So I end up being consumer of home movies, just like most people, with the streaming services today. But I do enjoy really being in the movie theater. If I have a choice, that's what I choose.
That's right.
For people learning English and practicing English, it's just great now that it's easier, less expensive, and more convenient to access movies on the internet, and the short clips, as you mentioned, to be able to repeat and watch the same clips numerous times, which can be really beneficial.
And a cool thing, of course, if you're watching with Netflix or on a DVD, is you can turn the captions on. So
yes.
what do you think of that, Paul?
Well, with the captions, I think it's a good idea to use them on and off depending on what you're trying to do. In some cases, depending on the level of the learner, you can, maybe first, if you're not so familiar with the topic and it's a little bit above your level, you can leave the captions on. And then once you're familiar with that scene, or you're familiar with that episode or that movie, you can watch it again with the captions off. And you're going to feel really comfortable doing that.
Because
that's great advice, yeah.
Well, my students often say that, they find it hard to understand every word, and it worries them.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a big problem. A lot of people mention that to me since I work with movies. And what I usually tell them is to, first of all, relax, that their goal is not to, capture every single word. They should be paying more attention to the situation, the way the characters are looking at each other, and the overall scene. And if they do that, if they pay attention to that, the language will actually find itself, going into their knowledge base. Anyway, not the complete sentences, but important chunks of language. They will actually acquire that over time, especially if they repeat watch.
I've had the conversation many times with students about should we use subtitles or not in my language or in English. And more, what I've been saying is what do you like? I mean, what makes you most relaxed and motivated to watch? Because in the end, I feel the most important thing is how often you do it and how much you enjoy it. So if you're trying to do it a certain way because someone told you to do it that way, that might not be the best way.
But I think we've got a great tip there, which is don't worry about understanding every word, and pay attention to the situation and the mood and the attitudes and the emotions of the actors as well. And that's going to draw you into the story and make it enjoyable, isn't it?
Can I ask Paul
Absolutely.
one question? Because I think he'd be a great person to take this question. So Paul, one thing that I do in French when I see a movie in French, because that's the language I'm learning, is I like to read about it in English before I go. And I like to know what's going to happen. And I find when I am more prepared, knowing, the story and the characters, then I'm able to really grab more of the language. Do you agree?
I think that's fantastic. I think that really works. There's this idea sometimes in language learning that, you should never do anything in L1 in language 1. You should go straight all into language 2. And really, if you are prepared ahead of time and you know something about the story, then when you actually receive that story in the second language, French in your case, and English for the English learners out there, you're going to be more relaxed than, if it's the first time you're exposed to this mystery movie and you have no idea who anyone is or what the story is, then you have to tackle too many obstacles at once. So and again, it's what you said before. Whatever works for you. If you feel that the subtitles in your first language the first time around help you, then by all means, if that's going to keep you more relaxed, then do that. And later on, you can just take them out and not use them.
Okay, so that's another great tip, isn't it? To prepare beforehand. And I have another question is, what can you do afterwards? Because is it just a question of watching, or are there things you can do afterwards that can help?
Well, really, that's where you can really make the material more yours, right? You can start to own it if you do things afterwards. And that's, it's kind of like when you watch a movie you like and then you sit around with friends and you talk about it, you get really good at telling the story. You kind of, start owning it. So what I think works out well is role playing. And in the resources, you'll find how to, find the scripts and grab a friend or with your teacher or with a like-minded learner, role play a scene, not the entire 2-hour movie, but a scene, a 3-minute scene. That is a great way of acquiring the language in a deeper way.
So there's another tip, which is to, after the movie, to talk about it with your friends and also to engage with role play and discuss it with your friends. Okay, so we've got some great tips there, and we've got lots of great resources. I'll put some in the details below, and make sure you join our Facebook group so you can find more
we'll
there.
also share the information in the English Show Facebook group, so look for us and join, please.
Yeah, and I think it's time now to take a question.
Oh, we have a question.
Okay, guys. Now,
right.
we had a question that came up related to our last English show. Because in our last English show, we were looking at the verb suspect. You know, when you think something is going on that's not good, you suspect something is going on. It's believing something is true, but you're not absolutely certain. You have no proof.
You have a strong feeling.
You have a strong feeling and no proof. And we had a question from Nevin Anise. And she said, I would like to ask you, what's the difference between doubt and suspect? So that verb suspect, but also the verb doubt. Actually, I said she. I think it's a he. Sorry,
I think so.
Nevin.
Yeah.
Nevin, sorry. And when do we use each one? In fact, what's going on here is they're both used in situations where we're not certain of something. And so if we suspect something is true, we think it's true. But if we doubt it's true, then we think it's not true. So it's like a positive idea and a negative idea. So I've got a question for you, which is, can you think of something that you doubt?
Is that for me or for Story Paul?
Let's go to Story Paul and find out. Can you think of something that you doubt, Story Paul?
Well, let's see. Something that I doubt. Well, it's a really nice sunny day, so I doubt that anyone went out with their umbrella.
Okay, you're based in Argentina, so you're on this southern hemisphere where it's summer, isn't it?
That's right.
Whereas it's very cold over where you are, Fluency, isn't it? Because it's winter.
No, I suspect you have not been following the forecast in France, because it is beautiful here. It's around, it's 19 degrees, 18 degrees.
And do you doubt anything about the weather?
About the weather? Yeah, I doubt we will ever have a tornado in France because they just don't happen. So I strongly doubt.
I think you can be almost sure of that.
Almost 100%.
Though with global warming, some strange things are happening. So it is
I doubt
doubt.
we can be sure about the weather anymore anywhere because of this.
Well, I doubt if I can go out without a warm coat today because it's cold in Philly.
Is it? Okay.
It's winter here.
I
for
suspect
sure.
you're growing a bit tired of winter.
You're quite right.
All right. Well, great question. We'd love to have more of your questions. You can submit them in the comments for the English Show on YouTube. You can also email us, or even better, in our Facebook group, The English Show. Post them there as questions, and we'd love to answer them on the show.
I think it's time for a game.
Ooh, I love games.
Let's have a game.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Tell us about the game.
today's game is all about movies. And I've got some very old movies for you. I hope you like old movies.
Ooh, like vintage movies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And just like Paul was saying, we want to have fun with it. We've got a little fun task for you. While you watch the movie, You're going to hear it with some music playing, and
Okay.
you have to guess what people are saying.
So when you
All
say
right?
music, you mean that the sound of the dialogue will be off.
You won't hear what the people are saying first time you
Okay.
watch it.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
have to guess what they're saying. Are you
Got it.
ready? And
Yeah.
there's also an extra special bonus. I'll give you a little ting. If you can guess the year of the movie, and you might, an extra ting if you can guess the actual actor in the movie, but that's very, very hard.
Because I'm worried. Story Paul, he's a master. So.
Well, these are quite old movies, so you might yet win this game, Fluency. We'll see.
I doubt that. I suspect Paul will win.
Okay, let's watch the first one. Let's watch the first clip.
Okay.
So, what did you think?
Am I starting or is
Yes,
Paul?
let's ask Paul first. Paul,
Okay.
what did you think they were saying?
Well, it seemed like it was a husband and a wife, and he was off to work, and it was some kind of a special day for him, or maybe for them. So maybe he was telling, it was their anniversary, and he was telling her that he was going to be home early so they can go out and celebrate.
Interesting, interesting. Of course, you did have that goodbye, yeah. And a special day, interesting. You're totally wrong. Oh. I'll give you a little noise for that. Okay, Fluency, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to try and probably be totally wrong also. But I was thinking husband and wife, but, it's hard to tell that at that time period, the age maybe of the husband and wife. I'm going to say it was his daughter, just to be different. And I'm going to say that at the beginning, he looked really worried about something. So I think he had, some job interview or some presentation. And then she said something to make him more confident. I don't know, maybe you'll do well, or remember after we're going to, go out and have fun. I don't know, something like this.
Okay, was it his daughter?
Oh.
Actually, it was his girlfriend. And this guy has a wife. All right, so he's
Ooh.
talking to the girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and let's see what they said. Let's watch it.
Well, I've got to go. I'm supposed to be back. I'll come here tomorrow noon, Kitty.
I'll be waiting for you. I'm sorry you have to go. Bye-bye, dear. Oh, don't forget the money.
I'll get it.
Bye-bye, Chris.
Goodbye.
So you were right that it was a scene where they were saying goodbye. So here are the words, everyone. He's got to leave. I'm supposed to be back. He's got to go. And then she says, oh, I'll be waiting for you. And then she says something very interesting. She says, oh, don't forget the money. So he's obviously giving his girlfriend some money here. And notice those words. You can say bye-bye or you can say goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay, did you like that clip?
It was,
Yeah,
it was great. Classic.
We need to try to guess when it was from and who was in it.
That's right. Did you recognize any of the actors, or can you give me a date?
I didn't. I mean, I can try to guess a date. How about you, Paul?
I can guess the actress. She looks like Betty Davis, and I'm going to say Orson Welles. I don't know.
It wasn't Betty Davis, it was Joan Bennett.
And
Do
I
you
know
want to-
one of the actors,
You
Oh,
know
Jay
one of the
knows.
actors. Who was the actor, Jay?
Edward G. Robinson.
Yeah. See, Jay's very old, so he remembers them. That's right. Edward G. Robinson was the guy. And
Yeah.
would you want to guess the date?
Go ahead, Paul.
1948.
And what about you, Fluency?
I'm going to guess a little earlier. I'm going to go with 1939.
1948, 1939. The winner here is Story Paul. It was 1945. So right at the end of the Second World War.
Right.
Okay. Are you ready for your next clip then?
Yeah, this is fun.
Okay, let's do another one. Okay. Paul was saying earlier about looking at short clips and looking at the emotions and the mood and the feeling. What do you think the mood and the feeling was there?
Yeah, well, apparently the gentleman broke an important ceramic vase or other type of home ornament that was important to the lady in the scene.
Yes,
And
you're right.
She was not very happy about that.
She was not happy. What do you think they were saying?
Oh dear, that was my mother's favorite something.
Oh, good guess. Good guess. Okay, what about you, Fluency? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to guess that the guy was, saying sorry in some way, or apologizing for what he did, and feeling bad that he was so clumsy.
Okay, clumsy is an interesting word, isn't it? If you're clumsy, then you do things like knock things over or break things.
Yeah, and because at the end she looked like she was protecting the other one, so maybe she was worried that he was going to do it again.
Absolutely. You're both very close, actually, and you're right, Fluency, that he was saying sorry. And when you listen again, when you listen to it, pay attention to how he says sorry. Okay? Let's watch it.
Okay.
I'm powerful sorry. I hope it wasn't you.
Oh, no. Very old. Only 2,000 years.
Oh, that's good. Maybe a little glue.
Oh, do come on.
Wow.
Yeah, so there you are. I hope it wasn't you. Oh, no, very old. Only 2,000 years.
That's lucky.
Now, notice he said, I'm powerful sorry. I don't think we'd say this these days, would we?
I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think terribly sorry, or I'm really so very sorry.
That's it. We've got all these other intensifiers that we use, words we put before sorry to say that we're very sorry. So I'm very sorry, I'm really sorry, I'm terribly sorry, I'm so sorry. I think that's all of them. What do you think? Any more?
Those are the most common, probably.
Those are the most common.
Yeah, they're the most common.
Notice there's another word here that you might not know, which is glue. Glue is that substance that you put on things when you want to stick them together. So he's suggesting perhaps they can mend it with a little glue. Now, can you give me a date? Do you want to guess a date, Story Paul?
I'm guessing this one is a bit older than the previous clip, so I'm gonna go with 1940 for this one.
Okay. And what about you, Fluency?
Yeah, I would say the 30s, late 30s.
Late 30s. I want an exact date then, please.
Oh, 1937.
It was 1937.
Whoa! Yeah, I can't believe it.
And I don't know, I doubt if you can name the actor, because...
No, I don't think so.
Let's see if Jay can. Do you know Jay?
I'm afraid that's even before my time.
His name was Guy Kibbe, but that's by the by. All right,
Wow.
This next clip is very old as well.
Yeah.
I think you'll recognise the actors in this. And let's watch it.
You're right. I recognize them.
Oh, who
Yep.
was it?
Those are two of the Three Stooges.
You're quite right. Did you know that, Paul?
Yes, absolutely. I am very familiar with the Three Stooges. I grew up watching them. Larry, Curly, and Moe.
Oh, you could
Although I
name
never remember
them.
which is which. That was one
But
of
wasn't
the
that
three.
Shemp?
I think you get a point for naming them. That's very good. Larry,
Except that
Shemp, and
Curly's,
Moe.
that's before Curly. That's Shemp. That was Shemp in the car.
That's
wasn't
Shemp.
it?
Oh,
Yeah.
half a point.
I think
So what do you think they were saying, Paul?
So I think one of the Three Stooges said something inappropriate, and he got slapped by the lady.
Something inappropriate, you think? Any guesses for what it could be? Any ideas? What do you think, Fluency?
Well, I think it probably connects to Shemp in the car with some strange, I don't know what was going on. But it seemed like after he said, oh, you know, my animal brother or friend is in the car or something. I don't know. I really have no idea. But I think it was because of that. That's what shocked her or got her angry.
Yeah, okay. In fact, he was saying something quite surprising. Let's. Oh, do you want to give me a date for this before we watch it?
What do you think, Paul?
I think these are also from the 1940s, but I'm not sure which part of the 1940s. I'll just go with 1945.
What about you, Fluency? What do you think?
I'll go a little earlier, 1941.
Okay, the winner here is Paul, because it was 1947. Okay, so let's watch it.
Wait. Oh. Say, miss, would you like to get married?
What?
Get married.
Well, I don't know, but you are kind of cute at that.
Oh, it's not me, it's him.
Okay.
I never thought Larry would seem cute to someone. But,
I think they were thinking which one is the cutest of the three. I don't know.
yeah, probably.
So notice something here. He said, would you like to get married? Right? And notice we say get married. He didn't say, would you like to marry? He said, would you like to get married? This is much more common in English than to marry. And then she said, you are kind of cute. We still use cute a lot in modern English, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And we can use it to describe a person, or we can use it to describe a cute animal. So we watch a lot of YouTube videos with cute kittens and cute puppies.
And even what somebody says could be cute, or what they wear, especially women. Can be cute.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one more for you. Shall we watch
Okay.
that?
Let's watch it.
Yeah. Wow. I see why you saved this one for last. This one is the most mysterious.
It is mysterious, isn't it? What do you suspect is happening?
Oh boy, that's the guy. He's playing with fire there. He's shaking that champagne bottle and then pointing it at her. It's the cork could come out and hurt her, and injure her. So I think he's trying to be kind of funny, kind of a wise guy, but a little bit dangerous.
Very good.
I agree, but I wonder what they're saying. That's tough.
Well, what was her reaction as well? Do you think she was cross with him, or was she frightened?
She seemed pretty okay.
She didn't seem that worried about the danger there in the situation. I don't know, maybe she's used to this person being crazy.
Any ideas for what they're saying?
Are you going to do that trick again, shaking the champagne bottle and pointing it at me? I don't know.
Or why do you always play around like that after you've already drunk 3 bottles of champagne?
You are both actually very, very close. Because, you said, why do you always do that? Which is exactly what she said. So I'm going to give you a little ting for
incredible.
that. Okay, so let's watch what happened.
Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Would you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Okay.
She's used to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, notice the use of always here. It's quite interesting. We often use it when we're criticizing someone. Why do you always do that? It's the sort of thing I find I sometimes have to say to Jay, you know.
And he probably says, she's always saying that I always do that.
Yeah. And then at the end she says to him, that isn't funny, Frederick. That's another thing I have to say to Jay. Is that right, Jay?
Do you get these ideas from the movies? Or?
I think it's very funny, actually.
Okay, do you want to have a go at naming an actor or giving me a date?
I can't name anybody in these movies. I'm really just not educated this time period with movies.
The actor looked more familiar, but I just didn't remember his face. I'm just going to throw a guess. Vincent Price? I'm not sure.
Well done.
All right.
That must have been a young Vincent Price, because I guess I only know Vincent Price from the Michael Jackson video.
Okay, so Vincent Price he was a famous actor in his day. And the date? Any ideas for the date?
They all seem to be in the 1940s. My gosh, 1949 for this one.
What about you, Fluency?
1948.
You're both going to get...
That hurts.
You're way off. It was 1959. So it was actually quite recent, that one, comparatively.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, really off.
Okay, guys, what do you think we should do next? Is it time for a rap?
I want to do a rap, but I have a really quick knock-knock joke for movies that I just heard yesterday. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Before we do the rap. Okay, knock-knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
Dishes Sean Connery. I just had to throw that in today, because what better day to do it on the English?
I love it. Okay, and the other thing I want you to do today is to give us a rap.
Yeah.
Let's have a rap.
Once again, it's
Fluency MC. Fluency MC.
Once again, it's
Fluency MC. Grammar through lyrics.
Kick it.
All right.
Tell us about the rap.
Well, we're going to do some of that grammar through lyrics, vocabulary through lyrics. So just like short clips are great movie clips, short songs and raps are great too, to repeat and to really get that vocabulary and grammar stuck in your heads with rhyme and rhythm and rhyme. So I've written a short rap using some of the vocabulary we talked about today, and Vicki has made a video. So if you're new to the English show, the way we do this, the way we go, how we start to flow, is we put the video on first for you to watch, listen, read the lyrics, and then we're going to practice slowly together, and Story Paul is going to help us if he's willing. Yeah, and then we're going to watch the video again, and of course you can always replay the English show, and I hope you do, to practice again and again so you can really remember all the great vocabulary and grammar and pronunciation that we're practicing with you here.
Excellent.
So if we can watch the video.
We went to the cinema last night to see that new Star Wars movie. Was it any good? My boyfriend loved it, but it didn't really move me. He's always talking about it, you know. Star Wars this, Star Wars that. That's kind of cute. Are you serious? And then when we were buying our snacks, he spilled the popcorn on the counter and dropped a soda on some kid's head. I'm sure he was terribly sorry. Maybe you should go out with him instead.
I love it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this, Vicki, but Story Paul, do you think I might have been inspired by you in any way when I wrote this?
Absolutely.
Story Paul is a Star Wars nut, so I was thinking, got to write the rap about Star Wars. So that's how I started off. And then maybe you notice some the vocabulary Vicki talked about today, like he's always talking about it, right? And maybe you noticed say it's kind of cute, right? We mentioned that. And I think a few other things in there.
There's terribly sorry.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So that's what we do every week, and I hope you enjoyed it. Paul, how does your wife feel about your Star Wars obsession?
Well, I think she wrote the lyrics to this and sent them to you.
Well, I was busy this week.
That's
I needed
my theory.
a ghostwriter.
Because
she thinks it's cute.
Always complaining that I'm always talking about Star Wars and that she doesn't think it's very cute. And I have to sometimes say I'm terribly sorry, but I cannot help it.
I suspect that it gets a little annoying for her, but I doubt that it's a big problem. So anyway, what I'd like to do, Story Paul, what we do with our special guests and you out there in the audience, English show viewers, is let's do some repetition more slowly so you can really feel the rhythm and rhyme with these lyrics. So Paul, are you good to go? Will you repeat after me?
Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, everybody, here we go. We went to the cinema last night to see that new Star Wars movie.
We went to the cinema last night to see that new Star Wars movie.
All right, good. Was it any good? My boyfriend loved it, but it didn't really move me.
Was it any good? My boyfriend loved it, but it didn't really move me.
Good. He's always talking about it, Star Wars this, Star Wars that.
He's always talking about it, Star Wars this, Star Wars that.
That's kind of cute. Are you serious? And then when we were buying our snacks.
That's kind of cute. Are you serious? And then when we were buying our snacks.
He spilled the popcorn on the counter and dropped his soda on some kid's head.
He spilled the popcorn on the counter and dropped his soda on some kid's head.
I'm sure he was terribly sorry. Maybe you should go out with him instead.
I'm sure he was terribly sorry. Maybe you should go out with him instead.
Great. And that sounded great. And I just want to remind everybody, one of the benefits of doing this kind of practice together is you can really see how a lot of words can fit into one sentence when we reduce, we shrink some of the words, the sounds, and we link them together, right? So drop this soda on some kid's head, right? And then when we were buying our snacks. So I make these raps not to teach you to rap, but to help you get better feeling and practice with natural English rhythm in conversation. So great job, Paul. Great job, everybody out there.
Hey.
Let's check out the video one more time. And then you remember, you can always go back and watch the English show again to practice. Here we go.
We went to the cinema last night to see that new Star Wars movie. Was it any good? My boyfriend loved it, but it didn't really move me. He's always talking about it, Star Wars this, Star Wars that. That's kind of cute. Are you serious? And then when we were buying our snacks, he spilled the popcorn on the counter and dropped a soda on some kid's head. I'm sure he was terribly sorry. Maybe you should go out with him instead.
Love it.
Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it. We'll be back next week on the English show with another rap, more conversation practice, a game, and another guest.
That's right. We've got David Doibelbeis.
Oh.
Yeah, he's coming in and he's going to be talking about how to help us be better independent learners. So lots more good tips.
Yeah, and in the meantime, please join us. Of course, subscribe to our channels, and also if you want to keep up to date on what's happening with the English show and ask questions that we could put on the show, join the English show group on Facebook.
That's right. I'll put some details below for how you can follow us.
Okay.
And also, Story Paul, how can people follow you?
Oh yeah, tell us.
Okay, guys. Yeah, people can follow me on my Facebook page and also on my YouTube channel and on my Twitter feed.
Excellent. Okay,
Great.
I'll put the details below, everyone. And I think the last thing we have to do is say thank you to Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
It's been my great
Thank
pleasure.
you, Jay.
It's been my great pleasure, and I hope everybody's enjoyed this program.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And bye-bye, everybody. Cheerio.
Yeah. Have a good week and stay in touch, and we'll see you next time on the English show.